Anselmo, please tell us, how is the 2016 wine looking and tasting right now?
Well, Tom, so you know that it has been laying down for now more than 2 years in the bottle, and 16 is fabulous. I mean, it's a difficult vintage to drink badly in Italy. You know, 16 was a great success. I would say on 95% of the territory, which is not. I wouldn't say it's something typical. It's really one of those vintages that pleases everyone. And 2016 has been a warm vintage, which is lovely, you know, I mean, for the opulence of the wines, and it's very it's lovely, but it has preserved the elegance of the 99. In fact, this is what we compare it to.
Hmm. I was about to ask if you could compare it to another vintage, then what would it be? And wow, I mean, 99 is one of your absolute legends, so that stands it in very good stead. Um, do you think it will evolve in the way that the 99 has?
Well, 99 is a vintage which is historical also for the you know, for the capabilities of evolving. These were very much cooler years, I would say, compared to the last ones. I think that 99 had a 0.5 alcohol more than the 16. So 16 is 13% 00. 99, if I'm not wrong, but I don't want to be sure because now actually I don't have it with me, should be or 13 or 13 and a half. So it's not a question of, it's just that the wines in the 90s were slightly more acid in the beginning, and the wines in the 2000s have turned out to be slightly smoother right from the beginning. This is also because we have plants which are 20 years older, you know, I mean, than in those years. So, you know, 15, 16 years older, this makes a difference, especially in an estate which was changing a lot in the 90s. We had a slightly more pergola at that time.
Of course, the famous Pergola Trentino, wasn't it? Of course, as
We
it's
still continue to use, you know, in the San Leonardo, I would say for about 30%. Maybe in the 90s it was 45, 90, 50%.
so. I think a fascinating thing which you just touched upon is that the 99 potentially might be over 13%, might be creeping up to 13 and a half. One thing which I think is almost unrivaled by any other estate in the world that I can think of is the consistency of not just the quality but the style of the wine despite climate change. How on earth do you do it year on year without, why are we not at 14.5% like we are in Bordeaux now, you know, in
No,
vintages like 15?
you're perfectly right. And in fact, I've just written a manifesto of San Leonardo because this is a question that often people ask us. And, you know, thanks to the COVID, and I must say, it really thanks to this time that I spent day after day inside of the estate, I really realized how much the physical, I would say, climate conditions are so unique here, you know, and you see that you know very well that we are in a sort of canyon. These huge mountains are on east and west of San Leonardo, and we have about 4 hours less of sun in average compared to Valpolicella, which is just 25 kilometers south of us, 30 kilometers south of us. And this lack of sun plus the light, which is very clear. You know, we are already in the mountain area, so skies are very, very clear. We say terzo in Italian. And so we have a great direct, we have a lot of lumens, you know, like when you calculate the intensity of light, you talk about lumens, but we have less hours of direct sun. These two factors combined is the secret behind our capability of still keeping the wines at a very low alcohol level. And regarding the style, this has been a work we have been doing for the last 50 years of keeping the same woods of the estate. So the plants have been kept on year after year. If we plant a new vineyard, we are using clones of our own. we are using selections of our own, of the plants, in order to keep the style of the wine. And we have changed slightly our way of working the vineyards. For example, in the 90s, my father used to do green harvests, and now we don't do them anymore, because at that time we had it was slightly cooler, so we needed a little bit more concentration, and now we have taken away this practice in order to don't get too much concentration, you know. And then we use the pergola, which is a system which is not ideal, I would say, to make top quality wines, but then when you blend it with our Guyot and with our Spur Cordon, that gives the drinkability to our wines, which is what we are looking for. So it's not something that has arrived to us just because we have stayed still, you know. It's something that is we keep on working in order to keep the situation the same as it was before.
Excellent. I love that. And the results are in the glass without a doubt. So my final question would be, what would be your favorite vintages to enjoy now from San Leonardo?
Well, if I had to, you know, just if I had access to every single vintage, just like that, I would definitely open an 88 maybe, or a 90, which are fabulous. But then, you know, I'm also someone who loves wines which are not just aged so much, you know. So I'm a great fan of 2011, which I think is superb. I personally think is one of the very best we have ever made. And it will be coming out in the next few years, and I'm convinced of this because the acidity, the slight green notes, which I personally love. You know, we make this wine, of course. I'm not saying that it's the best, but the 11 is something that always strikes me. 2000 is fabulous, I would say. You know, it was a minor vintage when it came out, but now it's just delicious to drink. It's really enjoyable. 6 and 7 are wonderful as well. 8, I mean, you know, it's a wine that is very enjoyable while it ages. I cannot say that there is one that sticks out. Well, 11 really for me is one step above the recent vintages. Yeah.